Beast left, the leader of our project. Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to discuss archers with you because I know that you are very experienced when it comes to archers. This is obviously not your first account, since my account is also just purely focusing on archers. I wanted to discuss with you like what should be or in that case any player who wants to focus on archers, what should be our quote-unquote perfect roadmap when it comes to investing heroes in Call of Dragons.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Well, that's a big topic, of course. We need to divide, of course, between spenders and free-to-play. But I think what I can really rely on is getting your Nico to 5-1-1-1.
Yeah, that Nico 5-1-1-1. That's perfect. That's what I just did.
That's really good. So how you do it, basically, you focus on getting your active skill from Nico, the first skill on 5, before you're unlocking any other skills. Because Nico is, especially in Season 1, a really good commander for behemoths, since you have the positions tree, which you want to go for behemoths. And what you can also do if you are free to play, for example, putting Ground on behind Nico. That's totally fine. If you're now like a spender, and let's say you spending, I don't know, let's say $200 per month, then you can maybe look also for unlocking Kinara over the wheel, right? Kinara is hands down one of the best archer commanders we have in the game. Like, she is just perfect. She has a perfect kit. She is perfect designed for PvP, counterattack, what you need as an archer. Coming back later to that. And if you have then, for example, 5-1-1 Nico with 5-1-1 Kinara, you're really good for Season 1, because you can, like you did in one of your videos, you can switch these commanders. So Nico as primary, Kinara as secondary. You have a perfect match for behemoths, right? And then you switch them, and Kinara is primary, and you have a really good skill tree for PvP. Because with a PvP tree and with a marksman tree, you can also go control, but I like to go full PvP. You have a really, really good tree for PvP and doing a lot of tanky counterattack. What I mean with that is, I waver to go with Kinara counterattack damage, because in her last skill, she's going to do 30% physical counterattack damage deal bonus, which have a perfect synergy with her talent tree build.
Yeah.
I made also a video about that, and I got a lot of positive feedback, and especially also from Wales who have tried this build, and they came to me and they were saying, I didn't know that Kinara have such a good tree. And I know most of the people go for Horse Kinara. And I also going for do it now, because I have just tested it, Horse Kinara. I'm gonna do a video about that. Also, it is crazy what you can do with Horse Kinara. But if you have now not Horse, if you like 370 to awaken Horse, it's a little bit too much for me.
Yeah,
and,
it's a little bit too much.
You know, like 370 is a lot of money. It's what anyone maybe get per month.
I mean, sorry to interrupt, but even if you are going to spend that amount in the game, like you can probably spend it better, right? Pop-up packs, you know, like spending on Legendary Trailblazer or other pop-ups. Like, it's going to give you better value, but obviously Hosser and Kinara is just insane as well.
Definitely. Hosser Kinara is definitely, I think, right now the best PvP match when it comes for archers. Because Hosser have a really good kit too, which is which have a really good synergy with Kinara.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you put Hosser as primary, you're gonna get a 25% defense bonus. It's like really good, and with counterattack damage from Kinara, then it's like really, really good. And you can literally like tank 5, 6, 7 marches as a strong T4, T5 player, and you're gonna destroy them.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen things like people just sit there, they don't even spend stamina, like they're not even targeting anyone. Like mage marches targeting them, they're just dying and crying. Like it's an insane march. But just another thing that I want to add, if let's say we have less experienced players in the game, I mean watching the video right now, Hosser is not just about the money that you should spend to unlock or awaken him, but also you need to get to, just to do that, you also need to get all the way to level 14 honor. So it's going to also cost you a lot of money unless you have crazy amount of whales in your alliance. But for example, in our project, we have like really good whales, but even then I've spent a little bit of money, but I'm only at level 9 when it comes to honorary membership. So in first you need to get to level 14, and then you need to spend all that 350 something amount of dollars to get your host to awaken level. So it's going to cost you a lot of money, but it's basically the perfect, probably the best PvP match for archers, right?
Yeah, Host Kinara is definitely the best PvP match right now for PvP for archers. Now comes the thing about the new heroes, right, which we're gonna get in season 2 for archers with Cindy and Forager. So the thing with Cindy and Forager is a lot of people saying this is the best PvP match for archers, which you get after you have unlocked them. And you can also like use them for behemoths, and it's like just the best.
Yeah,
I think there's a big problem with Cindy and Forager because we need to see the difference between T4 and T5 players. The problem I have with Cindy and Forager is that they're doing tons of normal attack damage.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Like that is the best match when it comes to normal attack damage. That's why you also use them in behemoth, because they have such a high normal attack damage. Plus the crit rate they also do on normal attacks. The problem with that in PvP is that archers getting focused like hell, right? They're getting swarmed down pretty fast because they need to step forward in order to be available to attack any mage marchers.
Yeah, they don't have the range that the mages have. Yeah.
Yes, and let's come down to a PvP situation where you have like 2 flags connecting to each other, and as we know, if they upgrading the tower, you have a siege tower where you have an area where you cannot port on. I mean, you can port on, but you're getting kicked out of that area.
Yes.
So you have like, based on the territory, you have like half of the enemy flag, half of your flag, and in that area you have like no city.
Yeah.
So you cannot city hop, right? So you have like free open field where you have like no possibility to jump with your march back if you are like getting focused.
Yeah, you are very prone to just getting swarmed down.
Exactly. And here comes the difference between T4 and T5 player. If you are a T5 player, you can easily go there and like tank this shit.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not no problem at all for you to tank this and still doing good counterattack damage, because archers have natural a really high counterattack damage.
Yeah.
And since T5 is also more tankier, they're also gonna live longer, which means they also can do more normal attack damage.
Yeah.
The problem now as a T4 player is that you're not doing any damage. Like you're just getting swarmed down and you whip.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing is, you need to consider yourself, if there are no cities to hop in and out, is it really worth to go for Sin and Forager for PvP? For behemoths, yes, definitely.
Yeah, they're insane,
even a 5-1-1 Sinduan and a 5-1-1 Forager gonna beat a full Awakened Nico and Kinara.
Yeah.
Because they just have the normal attack damage in their kit. It's just too good and doing too much damage against behemoths. So if you are like a T5 player, then you can definitely go Sindian Forager. You can use that on an open field match. No problem at all. You're going to do good merits. You're going to do a good counter-attack damage. Easy. If you're a T4 player, you should definitely focus on counter. 100%. You're going to be way more useful to your team, and you're doing also way better trades if you focus on counter-attack damage.
Yeah.
And here we coming back to a Season 1 hero. Because the Season 1 heroes are Kinara, Nico, and Horse. What you can do now is you can stay focused on Kinara, Nico, for example, making them both awaken, if you not want to unlock Horse, because that's too much money for you.
Yeah.
That's no problem. If you buy, for example, only daily, you're going to get Nico pretty fast also in the dailies. I think you're getting Nico after Kinara in the dailies in Season 1.
Yeah.
So you have, if you're focusing on buying every day with dailies, for example, then you can easily get Kinara awakened before Season 2 hits, with a weird maybe if you spend on it. And then after that, you can focus easy with the dailies on Nico.
Yeah.
Plus, if you're hitting VIP 10, you're getting also 1 token per day. VIP 8, 1 token per day for your legendaries, right? So you can easily get a really good match with Kinara Nico. ready for season 2 if you focusing on that in season 1 already. Now I have an interesting combo, which I really like to promote here. It is Kinara Forager.
Oh yeah, I seen it. I seen one of your Archer tier list videos, right?
Yeah. And let me explain why. I don't see it anywhere. Like literally, I don't see anywhere no one using Kinara Forager, and I'm like, why not using that? Because Forager is a commander, in my opinion, which you can focus on getting 5-5-5-1. You don't need to have her awaken, and then she is finished. That means it's gonna save you half of her sculptures, right? As you know, you need 690 to awaken one legendary hero, and only the last 4 upgrades gonna cost you 310. I think it was 310, 75, 75, 80, 80. And as you see on the last skill from Forager, it's giving you a mastery bonus and a debuff on the enemy, reducing the wage accumulation speed. Which we're getting. And if you look now on the Awakening skill, what does the Awakening skill give you? Nothing but plus 200 damage on the active skill. So I'm like, you don't need to awaken her because it's a total waste of a sculpture, right?
Yeah, her awaken is like very similar to what we have, let's say, in Saladin in Rise of Kingdoms. Like her awaken is just so dull, and you don't need to do that. And her last skill is, of course, it's good, but it's not a mandatory. So you can easily just go 5-5-5-1 and just stop. Okay, your Forager is done, finished.
You can easily focus on 5-5-5-1 Forager and putting that behind Kinara. And the thing what Forager is doing now is she increased the normal attack damage. Right? With her Awakening skill, she increased the normal attack crit rate by 60% for 7 seconds. She giving you a defense bonus by 15%. And another 15% normal attack damage bonus. And the last skill is another physical attack bonus, 20%, and normal attack crit damage bonus.
So what does a lot of crit damage?
If we compare that to Nico, Nico is doing more damage on the active skill and giving a defense debuff by 15%. But as we know, inflicts defense break, we have that on Kinara Awakening. Right? They have a 20% chance to inflict defense break on the target legion. So, it's not really it's like, sure, the one from Nico it's gonna be 100%, the one from Kinara Awaken is 20%, so you like, but with Nico I getting even a 100% always defense break, but it's not really needed because Kinara 20% is pretty high.
Also, just a quick note, even if your Kinara, for players who doesn't have, let's say, Kinara Awakened, if you go full PvP tree, at the top of it you will have Breach Blade, which you can also apply defense break. Or if you go to control tree, there's a talent that's called Ambush. With Ambush talent, you can also apply defense break. So even without Nico, you have a lot of different sources to apply that defense break anyways.
But Ambush, the one in the talent tree, I would only go if I don't have Kinara Awaken.
That's what I'm doing right now, for example. My Kinara is just, I think 5-2-4-1 or something like that. So I decided to go for Ambush. Once she's awakened, I will go for full PvP tree.
Yes, exactly. And the thing now why I recommend doing Kinara Forager is that if you look on the third skill from Nico, it's giving you a 20% physical attack bonus and a 10% defense bonus. But as we know, from the second skill of Forager, we're having a 15% defense bonus. And on the third skill, a 20% physical attack bonus.
It's just better.
From that skill, I'm already getting a 5% more defense. And the last skill from Nico giving me 20% normal attack damage bonus and 20% counter attack damage. As we know, Forager having easily also this, we having normal attack damage bonus 15% and normal attack crit damage bonus 30%. So what I would lose by that is only the 20% damage for counter attack. After a lot of testing in my season 1+, and I came to the point that I think Kinara Forager is probably a better match than Kinara Nico, because you still have a lot of counterattack damage, right? You have 30% from the last skill from Kinara, and if you go with a full PvP tree and half control tree, you're getting another 8%, 9% counterattack damage bonus on top from the talent. And now comes the thing with my special talent tree, which I have make a video about. The talent tree which I go is full PvP, a lot of tankiness and overall damage. You see on the bottom, I go for march speed instead of defense, just because so you're getting so you be a little bit faster and can hit the enemy marches faster and also step out faster if you're getting, for example, swarmed and you're taking -2. When I go for the control tree halfway, I focus 5 points in the counterattack and then 5 points in egoism, the middle one, which reduce the hero skill damage taken. And then I go for the soul siphon, which gives me counterattacks have a 10% to steal 40 rage from the enemy. And then I go full PvP tree and doing now something different what many others don't do. Others would focus now on march speed or the you legion deals 1% more normal attack damage in the field. But I go for the defense on the left side and then on top over it on the HP. Instead of, for example, doing more skill damage or more wage. The fact why I do this is you want to do trades of counter, right? I don't want to trade normal attack, so I don't need to go for normal attack. I don't trade with skill damage, so I don't need to go for more skill damage or for more wage. That's why I put defense and HP into that. And then I go for luck of a draw in the middle, which gives me, when the Legion launches a counterattack in the field, they have a 10% chance to reduce all damage taken by 1% up to a maximum of 3%. And all damage minus all damage taken is insane. That means all. It means everything, right?
That means normal attack, counterattack, skill damage, everything.
Yes, exactly. Then you go again for the counterattack damage. And here I go now for the left side on top, which gives me 1.5% more damage, which means, again, everything.
Yeah, all damage.
And then over it, I get stubborn fighter, which gives me, when your legion is in the field and their unit count is less than 50%, they deal 3% more damage. That means that you're not gonna lose the damage which you do if your march is getting under 50%.
Yeah.
And then the last point which I put is on the left side in the big talent tree, Blessing of Fury, which gives me, when casting Rage Skin in the field, your legion gains HP bonus by 10%.
Yeah.
And with that tree, I was literally destroying marches out of 25 main player in season 1 plus. I have destroyed basically every T4 player. The only players which have destroyed me obviously were the T5 players, but even against T5 player, I kind of have traded well compared to other people which having my power. And I was like, hold on, this is a big tree and I need to put it on YouTube. And since that, a lot of people have tried it out, like I have said it earlier in the video. And I got a lot of positive feedback and a lot of people asking me for archer trees and what should they do, and just because of the video. Because I showed you don't need to do that what everyone else is recommending. No one is doing Kinara Forager. Why? No one is doing this talent tree. Why? You know, like that is the thing. The game is not even 1 year out, and a lot of people not testing out. Like they just focusing that on what everyone else is doing. And I'm like, guys, test out. Why? Like even after years in Rise of Kingdoms, the talent build's changing. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So don't just go with a meta, but test your marches and look what is working and what is not working. You know? So. And with that talent tree, if you're focusing then Kinara Nico or Kinara Forager, you have a really good tree and a really good talent build.
Yeah.
And which giving you a lot of tankiness. If you go then with Kinara Forager, a lot of normal attack damage on top of that, and a lot of counter attack damage, which you want to have.
Yeah.
And you like gonna trade really, really good. If you know, let's say free to play and you cannot afford on getting Kinara Awaken, and that's fine. You know, you can unlock her then on 5 1-on-1, and then you're just getting her from the VIP, for example. Nico 5 1-on-1 is pretty easy to get since he is in the gold keys available. But you can also do Gwanvin. Gwanvin is also a pretty underrated commander for archers, in my opinion, especially when it comes also to Behemoth raid. Because she have a pretty well kit when it comes to Behemoth, because she giving you march speed, she giving you physical attack bonus, she giving you 10% overall extra damage when your march is over 50%. And as we know, in a Behemoth raid, you normally should not take damage as a mage or archer march. And then with her awakening skill, if she launches a normal attack, she have a 50% chance to inflict poison, deals damage every second for 3 seconds, which is 100. So that would be extra 300 base damage, which of course then
it's getting increased by bonuses with bonuses.
Yeah. So you can also focus on getting, for example, Nico 5-1-1 and Gwanvin Awaken if you have if you're free to play. And I never tested it, but I guess it should also work in a PvP situation.
Yeah, there is no reason to not work, right?
Yeah. You have with Nico, you can go for precision full tree and then half marksman tree. And here again, you can go for example, you don't need to focus full or normal attack damage, but you can look to build around to increase the counter attack, because you have, for example, counter attack in precision. You have less serious skill damage taken in precision. And then you can increase in the other half of the precision tree on normal attack damage. So you have options as a free-to-play to be a good archer main. The problem with being a free-to-play archer main is just that archers cost you more troops than mages, right? Because you're getting, like I explained earlier, you're getting focus more because you need to step forwards, which means more people can focus you easy without getting hit, right? It's the same thing with cav or infantry. The difference is just that as archer, you can easier step out than the infantry or cav. The options is just not that much like with mages, in my opinion, because with mages you have as a free-to-play Wellen, Warrior, Elven, Aetius, Teia. Sure, Aetius Teia is now a flying march, and you would lose some buffs, but you can still use it, and people stay using it with ground units, with ground mages in the mage march. So, for example, I see Lilia Teia, or what could also work is Valenteia, so you have more options if you go for mages instead of archers as a free-to-play. So you need to consider yourself, is it really worth, if you are free-to-play, to go for archers? Because it costs you more troops, you have less options in heroes, especially in Season 1 and Season 2. Since Sindrian is a TSL commander, and other than TSL, you're getting him on the dailies later. And as we know, you need to unlock a commander to be able to get him from the VIP reset, right? From the VIP daily. Forager is on the wheel, so you might be able to get her, but again, it's like Season 2, and it takes a lot of time then just with you don't get her from the gold keys, so it's a lot of time which you need to wait for getting her on 5-5-1. You see, it's not really, it seems to not be worth to go for archers as a free-to-play, in my opinion. I always say, if you are free-to-play, focus on mages instead of archers. That's what I can give you as a tip as an archer main. I think you can also stand behind that Spartan.
I just love Nico Kinara. And I think it's like, on my eyes, it's especially in early season, it's the perfect march. But overall, when you think about, the long term and everything, and especially the range of mages, because when you are playing archers, mages are going to start hitting you before you can hit them. That's a big downside. But for a complete free-to-play, definitely mages will be the better option. But still, if you are spending, even for a low spender, I think when you're able to buy some dailies and everything, and then archers become more viable for you. Beast,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you one more question before we finish. And it is, let's say you do have Kinara Kinara and Nico in early seasons, and then later on you did switch to Kinara and Forager. Then what you think, what would be the best option to use your Nico? Let's say you go for 2 archer marches, you're pairing your Kinara with Forager, then what you're going to do with your Nico?
Well, what you can actually go for, what I do, is Nico Teia. Nico Teia is a pretty interesting march.
So it's like a utility march, huh?
Yeah, it's like more like a support march. So you can go again with Nico on with a position and marksman tree, and you can like focus on like I explained earlier, on trying to get more counterattack, less serious skill damage taken, stuff like that. Look that your march just make your march tankier.
Yeah.
The thing now with Teia is, if you have Teia Awaken, she is giving 1 extra march her shield.
Yeah.
And on top of that, she giving the march a hero skill damage bonus, which is pretty nice for Nico, for example, right?
And I think this is what's very important here is that some people are actually missing it because we are so used to it from Rise of Kingdoms, is that the commander or the hero that is buffing the skill damage should always be the primary, right? Because so that then your secondary launches his or her active skill, then you are benefiting from that. But when it comes to Call of Dragons, for example, Thea, in bracket, it says it ends when a rage skill is cast. So even the Thea is the secondary, it doesn't matter because this skill is going to be active. This skill damage bonus is going to be active until your Nico, your primary or whatever that is going to cast his active skill. So that's why it's so important.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if it was like 2 to 3 seconds, then using Thea as secondary would be wasted because then your skill cycle doesn't work like that.
Exactly. And that's why Nico Teia is the thing. That's why people using Nico Teia. And Teia is also the thing about, from the second skill, you're getting an overall attack bonus, which is pretty nice. And hero skill damage taken reduction by 15%. 15% hero skill damage taken reduction is insane.
Yeah.
It is insane. Like, this is one of the best buffs you can ever get.
Yeah.
Hero skill damage taken by the current meta of people just spamming mages is literally insane and gonna save your ass.
This is almost as good as 15% all damage taken reduction.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Because like there are so many mages all dealing skill damage.
Yeah, we're gonna lose from the third skill from Teia the attack bonus and march speed bonus because of line units, but that's fine. You're getting the defense bonus, which you won anyways from that skill, which is the best buff you can get from that skill, the 20% defense bonus. And then the last skill is another attack bonus up to a maximum of 30% when she gives the shield.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can also use her if she is 5-1-1-1. That's what I love about Call of Dragons. Like, every legendary hero, especially from season 1, is usable if you have this hero on 5-1-1-1.
Yeah, the first...
Kinara is usable 5-1-1-1.
Exactly, active skills are just so good.
Nico, Teia, Velen, Madeline is also usable 5-1-1-1. Garwood,
yeah,
you know,
Garwood
like,
as well, yeah.
It's every hero is usable at 5-on-1. That's why you can use like Nico Teia even as a low spender. But it's again here the thing, like, maybe focus more on one march instead of 2. That's what I did. I focused more on 1 archer march because you also need to have a troops for it, right?
Yeah.
You always should plan to have double the troops minimum of your march side. So let's say if you have 200k march side, you need minimum 400k troops, especially as archers, to be able to send the march for the war, right? But if you're like a mid spender or a high-low spender, and you have Kinara Awaken after season 1, and you have Save Your Goatheads, for example, and getting Forager with a also on 5-5-1, then you can look for getting as a second march Nico Teia. Sure, that's the thing. If you're not unlocking Horse. Sylvian, you wanna maybe get them from the dailies if you're spending on dailies, and then looking in the future to make Cindy and Forager a thing, and then maybe again Kinara Nico.
I see. So one last question. I promise this is the last one. For let's say a T4 player, right? Let's not say T5, for a T4 player. Which combination is better? On one side, we have Kinara Nico and Sindrin and Forager. On the other side, we have Kinara and Forager with Nico and Thea. For field fighting.
The first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was.
Sindrin and Forager is just too good.
Yeah.
It's just too good combo. And Kinara Nico is also having a really good synergy. Also, when I really love to play Kinara Forager, it is just not as good as Sindrin Forager and Kinara Nico.
Oh, I see. Really, I see. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add? I think this is a super detailed, very nice, comprehensive video when it comes to heroes for archers.
Well, as archer player, play smart, please. Don't just AFK much, okay?
I mean, you can do it with Hosser and Kinara, but nothing else, right?
Yeah, Hosser, Kinara, maybe, but also there be a T5 player or really strong T4 player. And like really play smart. Like don't waste your troops. Because you need to think about like you need to have a good movement, and you need to know when you can go in, when not, because mages doing also AoE damage, and so have also a good positioning. Look that you just don't waste troops. I see that a lot of happening with archers, where stepping forward, running alone into like 10 marches, and I'm like, guys, why are you doing that? Yes, you're archers, you're doing counterattack damage, but you not should waste your troops like that. You know,
it's not like Goresh and Skogul, right?
Yeah. So, and if you're free to play, really don't play archers. Really, I cannot recommend that at all. Don't play archers at all if you're free to play. Please don't do that.
All right, thank you so much, Beast. Guys, Beast does also, you probably already know it, but he also does have a YouTube channel. I will have the link in the description. Make sure to check him out. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.
See you guys.